Hello and welcome back to Season 3 of Football Manager 2019 with USL Dunkerque in the French 2nd Division in Ligue 2, Ligue 2. We are going to have a lot of transfer business to go through today because there's basically, in order for us to make sure that we were competitive in this league, I had to do a lot of business. There's another thing I need to mention. Before I started this save, just after I started this save, Football Manager released an update which changed the rules for the minimum salaries required for each league. You needed to start a new game to do it. So, we haven't started a new game. We have stuck with the original game. And it means I think players might be getting paid too much money. Certain players. Not a huge amount of players, but some players might be. Before we go into the transfers, something I need to bring up, and that is finances. Now, at the end of last season, we became a fully professional club, and I thought that's going to be the end of us, because we're going to be then training 5, 6, 7 days a week, however many days a week we're going to be training, and I thought we're already massively in debt. However, one thing that now happens in League 2 is the fact that we get TV revenue. We are not paying a lot of money for our wages. I mean, yes, we're paying £55,000 a week, of our £39,000 a week wage budget. Ignore that. Compared to the rest of the leagues, we're not paying anywhere near as much as some of the other teams. We are going to pick up about £3.5 million throughout the season for TV revenue. So, by the end of it, we might actually be in profit. So then, transfers out of the club first. This is the list of players that have been released. Djibril Cissé, he has retired from professional football. He is now a head of youth development, and a terrible one at that. But yep, Djibril has now left the club. Dimitri Boudad, another one who we mentioned in the last episode that he will be playing his last game for us. He has also left. So far, hasn't found a club. The rest of the list there, so Anrifani, Ndai, Sanachi, Veriale, maybe, Masarika and Bala, none of them ever really got the chance to play. I think Masarika played a couple of games, Sanachi played a few games as well. They're all okay footballers, they're not terrible. Like, if I have a look at Adel Bala, he's actually right, 64 rating is what they recommend, but he's a winger. We don't play wingers. Other players to leave the club then, on permanent deals. First up is Idrissa Ba, the striker, who didn't really play too much last season. He was kind of, I've mentioned it before, that he was kind of a victim of circumstance. There were other players that were better than him, so Idrissa Ba has left. He is signed for our league rivals, Concarneau, on a free transfer. This is interesting because we might have signed a player from Concarneau as well, who's also a striker. Another player to leave, and it caused quite a huge fuss, is Alexandre Claval, the goalkeeper. He's only 20 years old, had a bit of potential. He's gone on a free transfer. No other numbers or percentages or anything like that is going to come in for him. I just basically went, you know what? We've got a lot of goalkeepers. We don't really need you. And then I might have loaned out some of our other goalkeepers. 6 players have also left the club on loan deals. First up is Thibaut Navet. He has gone on loan to Arras FA. Hakim Koura has also gone on loan to Arras FA. Joris Lukoki has gone on loan to AC Amiens. Hopefully he will get an entire season of football there, because I think he's going to be one of the players that he might come in useful for us next season if he gets better at football. He's only 20 years old. Another player to go to AC Amiens is Nicolas Brunel. He got a few games last season, but he was a little bit injury prone. Hopefully, like I said about the last guy, a full season here, he might turn into a slightly better footballer. One that I've asked my scouts to keep an eye on, 16-year-old French striker Melvin Monet has gone on loan to Olympique Saint-Quentin. I don't know whether he's even allowed to play for them. I'm assuming he is. Hopefully he's going to get a full season of first-team football. I don't think they're particularly high up. They're definitely not. They are 2 leagues below our lowest possible league that we can get in, I believe. But he is a key player for them, so hopefully Melvin can get some football under his belt. And finally, a bit of a weird one. Goalkeeper Maxime Morin, who is 20 years old, who we signed right near the end of I think we signed him in the transfer window in January last season, possibly. He's gone out on loan to Bordeaux. He is going to be a backup, but they're going to pay his entire wages, and I thought, you know what? If he goes to Bordeaux, they're going to have much better training facilities than us. He might come back a much better goalkeeper. Players to join the club then. First up is Kaylen Damessi, who is signed from Concarneau. So basically, Concarneau signed Idrissa Ba, we signed Damessi. Damessi scored a stupid amount of goals for Concarneau last season. He was basically their driving force for them getting up. Although 13 doesn't seem a lot, I think he was the second top scorer in the league. So he has joined us on a free transfer. He is getting on a bit, but I think having an experienced head might be somewhat beneficial for our extremely young squad that we have. Next up is 20-year-old Moroccan striker Kamal Moonkid. I hope that's how it's pronounced, because that's how I'm going to be pronouncing it. He is going to be playing for the reserves for the entire season, but he looks like he's got a lot of potential behind him. 5-star according to our scouts or our coaches. I think Moonkid will be quite a good footballer in a couple of years' time. We've also gone poaching some youngsters. Ryan Calliard, maybe, is a 15-year-old French right-back, signed from SAG Cestas, maybe. He has got 5-star potential ability. At the age of 15, he looks like he could be a good little signing for us. To bolster up the midfield, we've signed 21-year-old Malian Sambu Sissoko. He's come in from Tours. He was out of contract at the end of last season, so we snapped him up on a free transfer. He's getting paid £1,800 a week, which this is what I was saying earlier about the salary things. People are getting paid a lot more money in this league, particularly fringe players, and sometimes players that even won't be playing for us are going to be paying a lot of money. So Sambu Sissoko is our first half-decent player in, I think, apart from Demessi. Demessi's also quite decent. The first of 2 players to join from our feeder club, Nantes. They've actually joined on permanent deals as well. Teddy Buriad has signed. 23-year-old deep-lying playmaker, can also play as a defence midfielder, can also play as a fullback if needed. 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. I like the look of Teddy. Teddy will be joined by Hosu Homowu, also formerly of Nantes. He is a Togolese central defender with 2 caps to his name. 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability as well. I think he looks quite good, although my scouts and coaches and everything don't really like him, and they think I've wasted money on him, even though he was free. Next up is Edgaras Utkus, who is a Lithuanian attacking midfielder signed from Monaco on a free transfer. He's getting paid a lot of money, and I've made a huge mistake because I've signed about 3 attacking midfielders, so Edgars is now loan listed and currently training up to be a box-to-box midfielder as well. He does have a lot of potential ability though, 5-star potential, 3.5-star current ability. You never know, he might actually become our advanced playmaker for the majority of the season. It's the return of an old face. It is Valentin Voisin, the player who we had in our first season, who was on loan from Cannes, who we returned him to his loan deal because basically we weren't using him too much. We've signed him this time as a backup, so if we're not using him, it's not the end of the world. He's still a decent footballer, 24 years old now, 3-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. Valentin will probably get quite a few games this season. We've signed Fekir. It's Yassin Fekir. Yes, it's his brother. He is a 23-year-old Algerian attacking midfielder, the second attacking midfielder that we have signed. 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. Signed from Lyon. Never really played for them too much. Played a lot of games for the reserves, but nothing for the first team. I think he looks really good. A nice, decent creative force as well. I think having lots and lots of options as an attacking midfielder might come in handy because the competition might mean that everyone needs to perform well, otherwise they will get dropped. Next up is Brazilian defender Marcio. He is 27 years old. He's a central defender getting paid £2,100 a week, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. Now you might be thinking he looks quite good with those potential abilities and current ability stats. Yeah, he's transfer listed. There's a very, very good reason. Laval want him on loan. Okay, basically, I didn't realise that getting promoted to League 2 meant that our amount of foreigners that we're allowed to play has now reduced. We're only allowed to register 2 non-EU players, and Marcio, unfortunately, isn't probably going to be one of those EU players, so he needs to probably find himself another club, at least for a season. The reason is because WALLACE is one of our non-EU players. He needs to be playing football. He is a 4-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, another attacking midfielder. That's the third one that we've signed. I think he's probably our best one. Time will tell whether I am right about this, but I think he's been a very good signing. He's cost absolutely nothing. Every single player costs absolutely nothing. £2,100 a week. Seems quite a lot, but compared to some of the other teams in the area, that's nothing at all. Next up is English right-back BRYCE HOSANNAH, who is signed from Leeds, and he's loan listed, and someone's trying to sign him on loan. Basically, you know how I mentioned the whole the EU thing where we're only allowed 2 non-EU players? So England, or Britain, have left the EU, which means England isn't part of the EU. So yeah, BRYCE HOSANNAH can't be registered either. He's getting paid £2,100 a week. We need to loan him out as soon as possible because the last thing I want is him to not play football. 2-star current ability, 5-star potential. If he goes out on loan and actually plays a lot of football, he might suddenly come back as a great right back, and next season we're going to have a little bit of a difficult decision whether we loan him out again or we work out who we're not going to register and keep Bryce in the squad. Another central midfielder to join the club is Gideon Wadja, or Waha maybe. He is a Ghanaian central midfielder. He's a natural Mazzala. He can also play as a defensive midfielder as well as a deep-lying playmaker, segundo volante regista, and defensive midfielder, so he's quite all-rounded as a central midfielder, formerly of Toronto FC 2. So they're reserves, I assume. He's come in free transfer, £2,100 a week, 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. Gideon looks really good. We are starting to pick up some really good footballers, I think, and they're also quite young. So we might get to the point where we're starting to shift some of these players on with sell-on fees and things like that if they're not working out for us, and they still get good further down the line anyway. The final player to join on a permanent deal is Ivorian goalkeeper Hillel Konate. He is 25 years old, formerly of Valenciennes, played 1 game, let in 1 goal. He was also formerly of our local rivals Bologna, where he played 10 games. He's come in as a backup. Basically, I've realised that we still have Axel Maraval and we still have, Hartuk, but I don't like Hartuk. I'm not really a fan of him. I don't know if you've seen the last few episodes. He makes a lot of mistakes, so I'm kind of wanting to phase him out a bit. Konate, I think, is a good-looking goalkeeper, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential, so he's still got a little bit of room to grow as well. And the final player to join on a loan deal for another season, Hebert is back. He went back to Nantes because he didn't want to extend his deal because for some reason he didn't know we got promoted. And then when we officially got promoted according to the game, I made another offer. He went, yes, I will return. So Hebert is back. We're not paying a single penny of his wages as well. So that is our squad or our transfer business for this season so far. I think the window might still be open, so there might still be the opportunity to do a little bit more business, but if anyone's coming in, it's going to be on a free transfer because we have no money to spend. As it is the start of a new season, and it's a new season and a new league, we should probably take a look at the season preview. I've not clicked this, but I guarantee we're going to be 20th. Yep, 20th. Down there with Concarneau, 1,000 to 1. My objective for this season, and I think it's a fairly sensible objective, don't get relegated. Simple as that. There are 2 relegation spots and 1 relegation playoff spot. So if we finish 17th or above, that is the most successful season we could possibly have at this stage. As a wildly optimistic goal, 10th. Mid-table, 10th, 11th, 12th. That's my optimism. If we're going to really push for it, that's where I hope we'll finish. Realistically, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th or 20th is probably where we're going to end up. Here we go then, first game in League 2, our first ever game in League 2 if I'm correctly assuming right. We are up against Grenoble. Grenoble who, let's be honest, I don't know too much about them. Why am I going there? What I want to do is go here, I want to go here, I want to do season preview. Grenoble Foot 15th. So, that is a match that we might be able to win. I've just realised clicking on a team here gives you some options. Let's click on us. What do they reckon then? So, this is what they think might be our starting lineup. Well, for a start, Feke is not going to be a striker. I'm just having a look at the salary per annum down there on the bottom left-hand side for every team, and we are not the lowest in the league. So far, that goes to Concarneau. Everyone else is massively higher than ours, as obviously you get higher and higher up the table, £24 million. We are doing 2.88. Concarneau 2.24, Laval 6.25. So there is a huge gap between the bottom 2 and 18th place. So hopefully our abilities on the football pitch can close that gap. The starting lineup then for our first ever game in League 2. In goal will be Axel Maraval. There's not a huge amount of changes between our squad from last season and this season. In the regular starting 11, Boubacar Silla, Lucas Toussaint, Jeremy Huisman and Giovanni Chihuahua will be the back 4. So far, the first 5 are currently existing players. Baboy Traore still remaining with Dunkerque as well. Hebert and Sambu Sissoko will be the 2 central midfielders, with Wallace as the advanced playmaker. Kellen Damasi and Andy Faustin are the strikers today. So new players in the starting 11, there's not really a lot. It's Sissoko, Wallace and Damasi, and I guess kind of Hebert, maybe, not really. On the bench is where the changes do come in. Joan Hartuk keeps his place on the bench. Babatore is his name. He's also on the bench. Edgaras Utkas will be on the bench. Yassin Fekir, all of our attacking midfielder options, they're going to be there. Hosu Homowu will be also on the bench. Valentin Boyson and Valentin Candas round off the bench. We have 7 subs. That's another thing I forgot to mention about this league. We have 7 subs, which means we can actually, occasionally just chuck a child on the bench and maybe give him a run out every now and then. Now, we have played teams of this standard before, particularly last season. We played a few teams of this standard, a few teams even better than this standard, and we did alright. We won. We basically beat a few teams of this level, so I'm not particularly scared of this league, although I feel like it is not going to be an easy league. We might pick up a few unexpected victories here and there, but all in all, we're going to be expecting to lose quite a lot of matches. 12 minutes on the clock, and we've got a highlight. Faustin crosses in, Demessi is there, and we're 1-0 up. It's taken 12 minutes and 30 seconds of League 2 football, and Dunkirk have taken the lead. Look at the fans all jumping in unison. It's like they rehearsed it. Just casually sat top of the table after 20 minutes in our first season in League 2. Vela with the ball for Grenoble. Intercepted Hebert with the ball. Sissoko, Wallace, Chuacha on the left. There's one in the box. If he can find him, crosses in. It's not the best of crosses. Boubacar Sylla controls, goes for goal, and he rockets it into the back of the net. We're 2-0 up. We're top of the table. We're going to win the league. This time next season, we're going to be playing in League 1, and this match is going to be up against PSG. It's not, is it? It's really not. Do you think we're being underestimated? Is that what's happening here? Or are Grenoble just not particularly great at football? Vela with a corner for Grenoble. It's to the 6-yard box. It's... Oh, what's happened there? Okay, there's about 4 shots. Loic Goujon with the goal. It's 2-1. What happened here? So Vela's corner comes in. It's about 6-yard box. Cleared. Lassouli has a go. Kouakou has a go. And Goujon then puts in the third effort. It's taken a while. But maybe, just maybe, Grenoble are coming back into this. Chuacha with the ball on the left, straight after the goal. Forward, doesn't manage to find Andy Faustin, and now Grenoble can break down the right-hand side. Vela, ball forward. Kouakou's running onto it, into the area, goes for goal. He's hit the post, and Huisman can clear it. Half-time then, we are 2-1 to the good in our debut in this league. The other team that are winning, because everyone else is drawing at the moment, the other team that are winning is Concarneau. What a surprise. We're going to do nothing at half-time, although I do want to obviously change some stuff up. We've got a lot of new players on the bench that I want to start introducing into the team. But if we're doing well, I don't really want to upset it too much. Sanusi with the ball. Vela on the right-hand side. He's getting a hell of a lot of the ball for Grenoble. Forward, Kouakou runs through, goes for goal, puts it into the opposite corner. Christian Kouakou makes it 2-2. And, well, this time next season we might be playing in the 3rd division again if we throw this away. Toussaint with a free kick forward finds Hebert. Wallace, who's not having a particularly good game at the moment. Chuacha controls it. 2 in the box, crosses in. Damasi is there and he's hit the bar. I think he might have been offside. Just before the hour mark, Wallace is going to come off. We're going to bring on Utkas. We're going to bring on Fekir at some point, probably for Faustin. We've got a throw on Sylla towards Hebert. Hebert's gone down like he's been shot, and we have managed to get ourselves a penalty. Who is stepping up to take it? It is number 11. Is that Faustin? I'm not quite sure. It is Andy Faustin on a yellow card. Steps up, puts it into the top corner. A great penalty for Andy Faustin. Just as Idrissa Ba scores for Concarneau as well, we go back in front. Hebert with a ball forward, it's headed forward though. Sissoko. Chuacha's got a bit of space if Sissoko passes to him. He does. Is he going to put his boot down and run down that left? No, he doesn't. Utkas inside. Sissoko across to Hebert. Hebert, number 16, makes some space, goes for goal, hits it wide off the post, unfortunately. Corner for Grenoble. Vela's there. Maraval comes out, claims the ball confidently. Now, Axel, where are you going to go with it? Rolls it out to Traore, the defence midfielder. Hebert. Traore again upfield. Tries to find Sylla, who isn't going to get there. Spano Rahu. Great name. Maublu, maybe? Possibly? I don't know. Grenoble with the ball now, passing it around. Are we going to nick the ball off them? That's a good ball. It's a good ball. Stocker into... Oh, it's a save. His name's not Stocker either. Maraval manages to save it and it's cleared. We've got to hold on, really. We've got 25 minutes. Corner comes in from Vela. It's cleared. Lassouli collects it, edge of the area. Sanusi. Lassouli gets it back once again. Sanusi with a bit of space. He's got so many players on him, though. Goujon, all the way across to Vela, the corner taker. The danger man tries to cross it in. It hits one of our players. Goujon back to the central defender, and the danger is cleared. Another highlight shortly after, though. Sanusi. Goujon again in the middle. Goujon, Sanusi and Vela. Vela is the one pulling the strings, but the other two are also getting involved a lot. Sotoka crosses in, Huisman heads clear. Traore can now smash it upfield, and what a bit of control that is. Faustin into the area. Is Faustin going to make it 4? He should have made it 4. He wins a corner instead. Corner to be taken by Baboy Traore. It's not a very good corner. There was nobody there, and Mablu makes an easy save. 15 minutes to play. We're going to bring on Voisin for Hebert. Do we swap you two over? Are you better that way around? You're probably not. I mean, we've got a lot of defence midfielders here. We can play around for days. You know what? We're going to do that. So voicing defensive midfielder, Sissoko as the Carrilero, Barboy Traore is now going to be the box-to-box midfielder. We've got one more sub to do, which might be used for Fekir at some point. Traore's corner comes in. It's a terrible corner. It's cleared. Voicing is going to hopefully get there first. First touches of the ball in his second stint at Dunkirk. He's passed it all the way back to our goalkeeper. Maraval, just lump it forward. Finds Sissoko as the defensive midfielder. Traore all the way across to Silla. Silla, where are you going to go? Cross it's in. Faustin's there at the back, and Andy bloody Faustin. His second goal of the game, his second of the season. Obviously, we've played one game, Stuart. We are 4-2 up now against Grenoble. We've gone back to the top of the league. Everything is falling into place once again. Mombris with the free kick for Grenoble. Over the halfway line, lumped upfield. Kouakou goes for goal, and he's put it into the bottom corner. What is happening? Every time they get an attack, I think they're going to score, and most of the time, they have. I'm guessing this has been a good game for the neutrals. 7 goals, a penalty, a couple of bookings as well. We are into injury time. I haven't done any subs since I just started yabbering on, basically. Oh, Caceres is 1-on-1 with the keeper. Caceres forces a save out of Maraval. Right, we've got seconds to play. I'm going to do a substitution. It's going to be an exciting one. Damesi off, Homeru on. He's going to be playing. He's a no-nonsense centre-back, so that's what you're going to play as. Hopefully, that little change is going to waste enough time. The full-time whistle is going to go, and we are going to pick up our first 3 points of the season. Mombris crosses in. Chuacha heads clear. Traore heads clear further, and we have beaten Grenoble foot just about. I'm happy. I'm very happy, but that's if every game in this league is like that, it is going to be a long, long season. So 1 game in then, we are 3rd place. Auxerre and Sochaux above us. And then Concarneau, our nemesis, Clermont Foot and Nîmes below us. Those are all the teams that have won their first game in the season. Lille and Valenciennes still to play. Because of all the transfer business that has taken place in this episode, we are going to end it here. Next episode, we're not going to go very far at all. We're probably going to go to maybe Ajaccio and Valenciennes, possibly. We're not, like I said, we're not going to go too far in the future. I don't want to be jumping back in October and you turn around and go, hold on, how come you're top of the table all of a sudden? Or hold on, how come you're relegated? How did that happen so quickly in the season? We're going to go late August, maybe early September, maybe even early August. I don't know. Why do I keep talking? Anyway, thank you very much for watching this episode of Football Manager 2019 in the Domino's Ligue 2 with USL Dunkerque. If you did enjoy, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time.